But then the second part of the song will be here, What a Wonderful Night for Shabbos, written by
Van Morrison.
Yeah, Rabbi Van Morrison from Sephardic from the Netherlands. Here we go.
I think it's officially Van Ben Morris.
Van Morris. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat. Now we're gonna get real quiet so we can hear you sing. You ready? Here we go. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Yeah. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat. All right. Nice. What a wonderful night for Shabbos. Stars up in the sky. What a wonderful night for our families. Ima, Abba, you and I. First we light the candles, then we'll drink the wine, then we'll eat the challah. What a fine Shabbat time. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. What a wonderful night for Shabbos. Stars up in the sky. What a wonderful night for our families. Ima, Abba, you and I. First we light the candles, then we'll drink the wine. What we'll eat the challah, what a fine Shabbat time. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Oh, yeah.
Whew. Can I just have one more Shabbat with you, my chaz? All right, everyone, welcome and Shabbat Shalom. Let me not get in the way of the beautiful music. Would you open up your Sidurim if you want to follow along? We're on page 5 for Shalom Aleichem to the Stein Blues.
All right, and so it's a call and a response, okay? So I sing, you respond, like this. I'll just do it without, we'll just do it with myself. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei, Mimelech Malchei, Hamlachim, Hamlachim, together Kadosh Baruch. Here we go. we go. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem. Malachi HaShalom, Malachi HaShalom. Malachi Elyon, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei, Melech Malchei. Hamlachim, Hamlachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem, Boachem l'Shalom. Malachi HaShalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, Shema Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni, here we go. Baruchuni l'Shalom. Malachi HaShalom, Malachi HaShalom. Malachi Elyon, Malachi Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei, Melech Malchei. Hamlachim, Hamlachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem, Seitchem l'Shalom.
Seichem l'Shalom.
Malachi HaShalom,
Malachi HaShalom.
Malachi Elyon.
Malachi Elyon.
Mi Melech Malchei, Hamlachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. One more time. HaKadosh Baruch.
All right, if we can continue right along with Kabbalat Shabbat as we turn to page 11 with the singing of Lechu Neranana. This time we do the rock a continent away. We're going to have an Abu Yadaya melody, but rocking
Yes,
nonetheless.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. So this, the Chunaranana is from the Abba Yudaya. It goes, the Chunaranana, la Adonai, Nariya, Litzor Yishenu. But we're going to do it a little different here. Here we go. Yeah. Lechu neranena l'Adonai, Nariya, Litzor Yishenu. Litzor Yishenu, Lechu neranena l'Adonai, Nariya, Litzor Yishenu. Litzor Yi- Okay, you think you got it? Let's quiet down. I want to hear you guys. Here we go. You ready? Lechu neranena l'Adonai, Nariya, Litzor Yishenu, Litzor Yishenu. Nikat ma'avada betoda, Mizmirot Nariya. 40 שנה אקוט בדור ואומר עם טועה לבבה. 40 שנה אקוט בדור ואומר עם טועה לבבה. לכו לרננה לאדוני להריע לצור אישנו. לצור אישנו. לצור אישנו.
Righteous, as they used to say, or more accurately, or zarua lat tzaddik. Light is sown for the righteous. So we may as well. Page 16, everyone.
You can find the words Or Zarua in the red on the opposite page, right? In the transliteration.
Correct.
Transliteration.
Page 16 on the left or page 16 on the right. Either way, you got it good.
Or Zarua lat tzaddik ולYisrael lev simcha. Or Zarua lat tzaddik ולYisrael lev simcha. Simchu tzaddikim b'Adonai ve'odu l'zecher kodsho. Or Zarua lat tzaddik ולYisrael lev simcha. Or Zarua lat tzaddik ולYisrael lev simcha. Simchu tzaddikim b'Adonai ve'odu l'zecher kodsho.
Light is sown for the righteous and the upright of heart. Light is sown for the righteous, yes, and the upright of heart. Sing tzaddikim b'Adonai. Ya la 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 la.
ve'odu l'zecher kodsho.
La 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 la.
Or Zarua lat tzaddik ולYisrael lev simcha. Or Zarua lat tzaddik ולYisrael lev simcha. Simchu tzaddikim b'Adonai l'zecher kodsho.
La 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 la.
lat tzaddik ולYisrael lev simcha. Or Zarua lat tzaddik ולYisrael lev simcha. Or Zarua lat tzaddik ולYisrael lev simcha. Or Zarua lat tzaddik ולYisrael lev simcha.
All right. Well, we welcome in then the Sabbath bride, the Sabbath queen coming in through the doors any minute now. As we turn our book to page 23 for Lecha Dodi, we'll do the first two stanzas in addition to the chorus. And after the first two stanzas, we'll turn the page to 25 where we'll do the final stanza.
And so here's another call and response. Let me show you how it goes. I'll sing. Lecha dodi,
Lecha dodi,
likrat kala,
likrat kala,
b'nei Shabbat,
b'nei Shabbat,
likabela. Good. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, likabela. One more time. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, likabela. Amor v'zachor b'diborecha, ishmiyanu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad v'shemo tiferet v'tila. Here we go. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, likabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, likabela. Lecha dodi, Shabbat, lechuvenecha, ki mekor haberacha, berot shlikedem misucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshava, tehila. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, likabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, likabela. Please rise. Boi b'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola techem onai am segula. Boi chala, lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, likabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, likabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, likabela.
As long as we are all standing, we face the ark as we turn and can remain risen for Baruch Hu, page 39a.
1, 2, 3, 4. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Here we go together. Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Lai la 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 la. Oh yeah. Lai la 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 la. Oh yeah. Lai la 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 la. Ya la la. Ya la 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 la.
Baruch Hu asks always if we're ready to pray. Tonight it sounds like we really are. You may be seated. Page 40, we continue with the singing of Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam is our trademark love song, so we're going to use another trademark love song. I think you'll get it right away. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Ahavat olam. Ahavat olam. Beit Yisrael. Amcha ahavta. Ahavta. Everybody now. Ahavat olam. Ahavat olam. Ahavat olam. Ahavat olam. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Ahavat olam. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu lemadeta, lemadeta. Ahavat olam, ahavat olam, ahavat olam, ahavat olam. Love, 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 love. Ahavat olam, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ישראל. אהבת עולם, אהבת עולם, אהבת עולם, אהבת עולם.
That's all you need.
All you need is love. Love is all you need.
Love is all you
Love
need.
is all you need.
Love is all you
Love is all you need.
Love is all you
Love is all you need.
Love is all you need.
God loves you.
Love is all you need.
With a love like that, you know it can't be wrong.
We continue then with the Shema, page 41.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך.
We continue quietly with the second paragraph of the Shema. The top of page 42 will come together at the bottom, midway through the third paragraph of the Shema.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
We turn then to page 44 and invoke a theme that has been always part of rock music, the theme of freedom, as we get ready to sing Micha Mocha in the middle of the page. We bring to mind the words that the Jews sung when they first came through the sea. We read them only 2 weeks ago in our Torah portion. Just think of what it could mean if we had the same energy that they might have had. They who had been enslaved for 400 years. They were tasting freedom for the first time. We, who are blessed and privileged to live in a world where we get to taste that freedom every day, sometimes make us take it for granted. So sing it tonight, as Justin leads us, with the zeal that you can feel that you might have felt if you were there crossing the sea that evening for the first time.
Kamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha Nedar ba'kodesh Nora tehilot Oh sefeleh Nora tehilot Osefele, won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? They're all I ever had. Redemption songs. Oh, Malechutcha. Ra'uvanecha Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Zeli anu v'yameru Adonai yimloch Le'olam va'ed. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? They're all I ever had. Redemption songs. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? They're all I ever had. Redemption songs. Adonai et Yaakov U'ge'alo miyad חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל, גאל ישראל. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? They're all I ever had. Redemption songs, redemption songs, redemption songs.
There are always those still in need of redemption, still in those narrow places. In particular, at this point in the service, we think of those who are in the narrow place of illness, be it illness of body, illness of spirit, illness of the soul. Whatever their narrowness might be, let us hope that just as the prayer we just sang says, that they might cross the sea from the narrow place to a place back of health. We pause for a moment to remember all those, to call to mind all those who may be in need of healing. The words to the prayer for healing are on the handout that was given earlier this evening. Feel free to join in and call to mind those people in your life who you know could use that prayer.
God, only you can bring true healing, and so we pray. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh Kulei Amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, Shekhinah, restores our loved ones, heal our people speedily in our day. Benova, Amen. Evaenu Adonai, God, only you can bring true healing, and so we pray. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh Kulei Amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, Shekhinah, restores our loved ones, heal our people speedily in our day. Then let us say, Amen.
I love how we sandwich the prayer for healing right in between first a prayer for redemption and afterwards a prayer to spread a shelter of peace over us all. God willing, may those three things all work together as we turn our page to Hashkivenu, page 45.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu Lechayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Hamidenu Malkeinu Lechayim
Ushmor tzedkenu לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים.
So a small bit of Torah on this night. I don't know if any of you remember what it was like to try to lay down the law with children. Never an easy feat. But one of the things you learn as a parent invariably is where you have to lay down the law and where you don't. For example, I don't think I ever had to tell my children, you need to remember to have dessert after dinner. If you don't have dessert, no, it never happened. There are certain things that you know people are going to do without an injunction or a penalty if they don't do it. And we don't tend to write laws or make rules in a house to have us do things that children would be willing to do without any threat or punishment behind them. Well, the truth is that things really aren't all that different when it comes to grown-ups. If you look at the way laws get made nowadays, most of them are only because someone has done something problematic, and we now know that people are willing to do that, and therefore we make a law against it. We see this all the time, in particular with the way we look at technology. A new technology will come out, and no one will have a full understanding of what the power that technology might be able to do. We know that it's got 1,000,001 wonderful applications. We turn it loose, and invariably, someone finds something nefarious to do with it. Only then do we then find people making laws to say you can't do that nefarious thing with the technology that we've invented. And ladies and gentlemen, the Torah really wasn't all that different. This week in our Torah, we read Parashat Mishpatim. And Mishpatim literally means rules or laws. Last week, we culminated the portion with the Ten Commandments. This week, we get dozens upon dozens upon dozens of literally one-line rules and laws. In this circumstance, make sure you do that. In that circumstance, make sure you do this. In this particular case, do that. And they cover all different kinds of things. Agriculture, slavery, bondsmen in your house, money lending, what you can wear at certain times, when you have to have your holidays. It's a very comprehensive portion. In fact, if any of you are attorneys, it's kind of the basis for the tort law class that you had to take in law in your L1 year. I just wanted to call attention to one of them. One of the dozens that happen to be here. It's one you've often heard cited in all likelihood, but I think it bears particular importance on a night like tonight, in this time of the year. The line reads in chapter 23, verse 4, when you encounter the ox or the ass of your enemy wandering about, you have to take the ox back to him or her. I'll say it again. When you encounter the ox or ass of your enemy wandering about, you have to take it back to them. Now, I want you to think about how deeply profound something like that actually is. If you're actually at war with somebody else, and think of this in ancient times, and you know that they own cattle or an ox or a donkey or something that they really need to do work for them, if you notice that the one that you know belongs to your enemy is wandering about, meaning it's gotten loose out of its pen and it's not likely to find its own way home, every inclination in the world should tell you, yes, my enemy is now without whatever they need to be able to do what they need to do in their fields. My enemy is going to have a harder time producing food. My enemy is going to have less to eat. I am more likely to be victorious. Every single thing that we know about the way war should work tells you that that's what we would feel. And that's why the Torah tells us that it can't be that way. You'll note, by the way, there's nothing in here, nothing about what happens if you see your ox wandering about, nothing about even if you see your neighbor who you happen to like ox wandering about. The Torah didn't seem to need to tell us what to do with those. It makes the assumption that if you saw your ox, or at least the ox of your friendly neighbor wandering about, you'd bring it back without thinking about it. But when it comes to your enemy, we might not be so quick to take such actions. And so, the Torah tells us that even if it's your enemies, you have a responsibility to take it back and walk it back to its owner, even though doing so is not only not in your interest, it is against your interest to do precisely that. What do we learn from something like this? What do we learn from a law that says you have to actively go against your own interest in order to stay in line with the commandments? Well, there's two things that I think at least that we glean out of this. Number one, it shows you what regard Judaism has for animals. The idea that an ox that is wandering and therefore won't find its own food, won't be taken care of, we are to put the welfare of that ox above and beyond whatever we might feel toward the person who owns it. Even though it will be to our detriment, we can't harm the ox in the process. So at one level, the fact that the animal's welfare is so important is worth noting. But I think that there's something else here. Something that isn't spoken directly in the text. It's a little bit more just beneath the surface. And that is that assuming you follow the rule, when you see that ox wandering about and you know it's your enemy's, and you capture it and you walk it back to your enemy, it's going to be really hard for you to do that without having a conversation. You can't exactly just tie the ox up in the yard, stick a note out and say, found it, enjoy, goodbye. You're going to need to go to your enemy's door, and you're going to have to say, I found your ox. When your enemy realizes that you brought his or her ox back to him, I'd like to think that that conversation is going to lead to something a little greater. That maybe you'll be a little less of an enemy after they realize that you're willing to go down that road. Maybe you'll be a little less thinking of that person as a threat. Maybe you'll have that moment where the two of you look at each other and say, we're not so different after all. I have an ox to help me feed my family. You have an ox to help you feed your family. And all we're really trying to do is just get along in this crazy old world. Maybe that's what the Torah had in mind. That for all the arguments that we people get into over certain things. We often become stubborn, like an ox. And we refuse to see the humanity and good in others. Maybe just by doing those little favors, doing those little pieces, we might be able to break down a wall or two. If we come to see our enemies, whether it's another nation, someone from another political party, or someone we had a fight with, as someone with shared destiny, with the same tools, maybe we'll be a little less likely to fight. I'm not saying it's going to cure everything, but I don't know one time that a good conversation with someone you didn't get along with didn't help, especially when you're returning something that they desperately need. So as we go forward, let's think about what ways this sort of thing might manifest in our own world. We don't have too many oxen floating around on the 405. Some of the SUVs might pass, but that's another story. Let's hope that if there's something that we lose, maybe if it's not something material, maybe it's a piece of dignity, maybe it's a sense of fear, maybe it's a sense of help. If we could return those to its owners, maybe we might all see each other as a little bit more common. We'll be a little less stubborn like oxen and a little more like two people who just need to get along. Or, as the case might be, two people who need to rock tonight. We continue with the Chatzi Kaddish, Vishamru, page 46.
Okay, here we go.
Please rise. If the music doesn't move you, the instruction will.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asod et HaShabbat ledoratam b'rit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asod et HaShabbat ledoratam b'rit olam. Beini ubein b'nei Yisrael od hi la'alam, od hi la'alam, od hi le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asod et HaShabbat ledoratam b'rit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asod et hashabat ledoratam b'rit olam. Ubayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asod et HaShabbat ledoratam. One more time, just you guys, here we go.
Chatzi Kaddish at the bottom of the page.
Yitkadah v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah Amen. Ve'alma divrachi rutei, ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayedechol Beit Yisrael, v'gala u'bizman karim ve'imru amen. Shmei Rama Mevorach, Le'alam U'lanei Almaya. Ve'yishtabah, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shmei lekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kolchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata.
There's an old prayer that I remember from my earliest prayer books, or more accurately, a reading that used to precede some of the prayers on Shabbat. It was a small poem that used to read something to the effect of, there was a great musical artist who once was known for his incredible ability to play his instrument. And someone once asked him, how do you play the notes with such precision? How do you play the notes so well? And he famously answered, the notes I play like everybody else does. But the spaces in between the notes, I know how to make sing better than anyone. And to me, I've always remembered that because, number one, it was the perfect metaphor for Shabbat. It's the space in between the notes. And second of all, it's a great way of helping to understand prayer. We have a lot of notes we're hitting up here tonight. But somewhere in there, we need a little space between the notes. A little space to find your own prayer, your own song, your own vibe. So with that, Chazan will help us out by starting us with Adonai Sfatai Tiftach on page 47. And then you'll have a little moment to find your space for your notes.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha.
If you're still davening, please go ahead. On our sheets, we have a version of Vayachulu that we'd love for you to join in on. Vayachulu on our sheets. It's the small repetition of the Amidah that we have. We never have a repetition, but on Shabbat evening we do, so that people who came in late can catch up and walk home together with the crowd. It's an amazing historical thing for our safety. Okay. Vayachulu. Song sheets. And on page 53. And there's the Hebrews in red transliteration for your convenience. Please rise. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה. Sing it with me. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה. וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו. Here we go. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה. כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
The wonder of creation, sensation of elation. You can feel it in the ground, in the air, all around. It resounds with the feeling of majesty. Look around, God created everything you see. Yeah, the earth, the sea, the air, the trees, man and woman, the birds and the bees. But you gotta remember the day that God blessed, that Shabbat, a day of holy prayer and rest.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו. All right, you've heard it once, and now you have to join in. All right, get your sheets ready. Let's hear you rap with my son Justin. Here we go.
The wonder of creation, sensation of elation. You can feel it in the ground, in the air, all around. It resounds with the feeling of majesty. Look around, God created everything you see. Yeah, the earth, the sea, the air, the trees, man and woman, the birds and the bees. But you gotta remember the day that God blessed, that Shabbat, a day of holy prayer and rest.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויחולו
continue page 54 with Kaddish Shalom.
יתגלה ויגשמי רבה.
אמן.
ואמרתי בחירותי, וימליך מלכותי בחייכם ובימיכם ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מבורך, לעלם לעלמי עלמיה.
Yitbarach.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ותומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה.
בריחו.
בריחו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה ושמחתה ונחמתה דמירון בעלמה ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותון ובורהון לכל בית ישראל כל אבנו שמיה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו כל ישראל ואמרו
אמן.
עושה שלום במרמה הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
We remain standing for Kiddush, page 55. Could I get a C chord, please? There we thank you. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon inchilanu, zikaron lemase v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu bacharta leotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'beratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. May the sweetness on our tongues always lead to sweetness coming out of our mouths, and may our toast always be l'chaim, to life.
Amen, amen.
Amen. And we continue and begin our conclusion as we turn to page 56 for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו גדולי הרצון, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שנו את השמיים ויוסר על זה השמיים על שכינת וזו כן נקווה לך כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמן היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
You may be seated. You know, even at times as joyous as this, on the one hand, we feel the sheer joy of the moment and the smiles and the warmth, but it also makes us feel as though we miss the people who we wish we could share it with in body, even though we know they're sharing it in spirit. And that's why we remember all those who have yahrzeits at this season between tonight, the 27th of Shabbat, all the way through next week, and the 3rd of the month of Adar. This week in particular, we are remembering Lulu Shamash Abid, Brooke Ashley Alexander, Stanley Alperin, Mike Bernstein, Louis Block, Helen Bomberg, Francis Braverman, Lillian Bulavsky, Maxine Bassel, Dvora Dodi Chubotaro, Stephen Dach, Joseph Elbaum, Theodore Flesser, Bertha Gelfond, Hervey Geminder, Lydia Glazer, Irving Gold, Fredka Goodrich, Fred Gottfrucht, Clara Halpern, Sally Hurst, Sadie Hoffman, Marilyn Jussum, Jules Carey, Warren J. Kaufman, Pauline Kaufman, Elise Klein, Dolores P. Klein, Martin Klein, Howard Klotzman, David Krantz, Esther Kurtzman, Sarah May Lasky, Marion Lavin, Ron Lee, Frank Lipkin, Henry Simon Lorch, Louis Miller, Harry Minkoff, Henry Moss, Jack Norwich, Yoav Pantalat, Morris Posnick, Maria Redbrun, Norman Reisman, Harry Rosenfeld, Evelyn Rosenzweig, Joey Russo, Evelyn Rubin, Bruce Saltman, Bernard Shine, Kamran Shakiban, Harry Shapiro, Mo Sharf, Tom Mitchell-Sherrack, Robert Seidner, Gerald Silver, Betsy Silver, Gertrude Spasser, Gary Starkman, Samuel Stone, Sarah Topi, Tilly Varnon, Aaron Keene Visselman, Evelyn Visselman, Allison Warshaw, Anna Weiss, and David Welsh. We are also mindful, as always, of the bereavements that have been recent in our community. We are particularly calling this week Fern Gutansky, the mother of Ellie Langsam, Lily Fruchter, the mother of Ben Fruchter, Dorothy Semmel, the mother of Lisa Sharp. And I know that we have here tonight as well, though it is still only the first month, Gail Azarad, the mother of Jessica Azarad. Those of you who are in mourning, be it for that first week, be it for that first month, or the year that you're remembering a parent, or it's a yahrzeit, or it's just something you know you need to do. The Kaddish is found page 58. All those who are able and wish to, please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'v'zman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mivorach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudsha b'reichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram be'alma, v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, V'imru, amen. I could bring, you may be seated. If I could bring to the bima our former president, Bob Epstein, if you could, before you get seated down too quickly, to read us our announcements for this week.
Nice surprise.
Hey, you should only know if I.
Exactly. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to everyone. Let's do that again. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Awesome. That was my fault on that one. Welcome to everyone who's joined us this evening here, as well as those of you who've joined us in the live stream. We welcome you to join us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. to celebrate Shabbat services right here in our sanctuary or on the live stream. Next Friday night at 7 p.m., we'll be back here in our sanctuary for Shabbat evening services, so be sure and be back here. Be just like, not exactly that tonight. And next Shabbat morning at 10 a.m., we will celebrate the bat mitzvah of Riley Woodard. Mazel tov to Riley and her entire family. So Purim is on the horizon. You can see it, it's out there. Yeah. It's going to be awesome. Get ready to celebrate at our Purim Carnival, which is Sunday, March the 5th at 10:30 a.m. It goes till 3:30. Get your tickets, get information on volunteer opportunities, and select Mishloach Manot. Also, go to the websites because we need volunteers to sign up. Mishloach Manot options on our website also, and join us on Monday, March 6th at 6:30 p.m. at the North Campus, Shomrei Torah, for Mordechai Superstar. That's going to be awesome. The air guitar. The show tells the story of Purim in a I can't read this. I didn't know I was going to do this. In a fun and fast-moving spoof based on the famous Broadway musical starring our own Chazan Mike Stein. Marav and full Megillah reading will be following the spiel, and of course admission is free. And I mean, this is going to be one of the best spiels we've ever done in the last 20 years. So be sure not to miss Mordechai Superstar. Could be special guests appearing in the spiel. A reminder to sign up for our next monthly Shabbat dinner on March 3rd at 7 p.m., directly following our 6 p.m. Shabbat Together service. Join us for dinner or the service or both. Registration is now open for our Temple Aliyah Shabbat retreat at the beautiful Brandeis Collegiate Institute. That's the BIC. No, the BCI. Tell you, these things, what can I tell you? The BCI campus of AJU, the home of Camp Alonim in Simi Valley on April the 14th to the 16th. It's a wonderful opportunity for families to spend Friday afternoon through Sunday morning, relaxing and talking, praying and talking and hiking, singing and studying and doing all those things that you do when you go to camp, all while soaring to new. What the hell? Could you give me those, please? Whoa, it doesn't say any of that stuff. Let's start from the top. Shabbat Shalom. Anyway, thank you so much. It's a wonderful opportunity for families to spend Friday afternoon through Sunday morning, relaxing, talking, praying, and hiking, singing, and studying, all while soaring to new heights. Join us for a peaceful Shabbat in nature. Thank you so much, Rabbi Schaefer, for leading services this evening.
Thank you to Chazan Stein for reading this.
Yeah, Chazan Stein, Justin Stein, David ZZ Cohen,
Troy Dexter.
and
Steve Harvey.
Steve
Harvey. Yes.
Awesome. Loved his stuff he did on that show, whatever. Anyway, you guys seriously rocked it tonight. You guys seriously rocked it tonight. Anyhow, thank you so much for being a part of Aliyah's stories. I gotta go. Thank you for being. Bye-bye. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We'll bring everything to a close in its own rockin' way with Adon Olam, page 211. I think you'll know the words, certainly, and you'll definitely recognize the tune.
All right, so stand up. Come on, let's stand up. Let's dance if you want to dance. All right, here we go. I don't know